What's going on, everybody? I am back. We got episode number 69 of the Club and Sub podcast. Tonight, I'll be breaking down UFC 267, Blachowicz versus Teixeira. As it turns out, it's going to be a solo show tonight, it looks like. Just me. The guy should be back next week, but I just got word from C that he will not be joining. So it'll be me and the chat if anyone wants to chime in. Yeah, so we're brought to you guys by betonline.ag for a 50% bonus up to your first $1,000 deposit. Use the promo code CLUBSUB. Yeah, guys, if you like the show, please drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. The other guys would really appreciate it, even though they aren't here right now. I know, Lags and Luke had a late night last night being at the PFL finals, which apparently was awesome. I lost a fuckload of money on it, so less awesome for me, but I'm happy those guys had a good time. And yeah, we got an early card this weekend. Mimosas, brunch, and fighting. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. So, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get into this thing. So, first fight of the night, we got Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Alan Nascimento. And I don't really have strong thoughts here. I guess, I think the line is pretty much right, to be completely honest. It's interesting. Like, if you haven't seen the fight, oh, never mind. Look who we got. We got C joining. How are you doing, C?
Hey, how's it going?
Are you in a fucking bar right now?
Yeah, but I'm going to mute myself.
I
can hear you.
But yeah, I don't really have a ton of strong thoughts about this fight. Ulanbekov, I mean, he should have him covered everywhere. Nascimento's fun. He throws a lot of strikes. He has, I wouldn't even call it good jiu-jitsu. It's more like meme and opportunistic jiu-jitsu. He had a great fight with Raulian Paiva on Contender Series a couple years ago, if you haven't checked that out. But ultimately, I just don't think he's very good at anything. Pretty poor striker, bad takedown defense, loses position a lot when he gets on top. I just, I'm not a big Ulanbekov guy, but I do think he should probably have the fight covered here wherever it goes. Minus 400 seems about right. Nascimento seems largely to be leg lock or bust. C, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I think minus 400 is probably in line. Yeah, he's got him covered pretty much everywhere. Not many scenarios where he drops this.
Yeah, agreed. Moving on, we got Damir Ismagulov taking on Magomed Mustafayev. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not rushing to run into bet Damir, but probably a good matchup for him. There's someone who's really just kind of kick heavy. Mag probably doesn't, he's probably not going to have any type of grappling success. Although the Riddell fight probably aged pretty good for him. Yeah, I think Damir probably has him covered. But if I was playing the opposite way, I just play KO1. Damir got pretty much rocked that first time, his last fight. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree. To be honest, I kind of like the under, if I'm being honest. Like, I know Damir's not a super high volume guy, but both guys hit reasonably hard. Mustafayev's been hurt a few times. And yeah, I mean, Rafael Alves rocked Damir. And that's a plus number. In terms of the fight itself, I mean, Damir's better at everything. Maybe not the better grappler, but I don't really trust Mustafayev to get a grappling heavy game plan going for 10 minutes and be able to control Damir, which is probably what he needs here. But with that said, I mean, I could never lay a Damir number here or parlay him. I know people love him, and I don't mind him. The guy's a technical wizard, but he's not very high volume, and I think he's got major athleticism holes, if I'm being honest. And so, Maga just outworking him or, maybe just landing a bit harder wouldn't totally shock me, I guess. If I was going to make a bet on a money line, it would be on Mustafayev. I don't have faith that he can consistently win this fight anywhere. So, I mean, it's probably a pass for me unless the line blows up way further. But like I said, I actually have moderate interest in the under here. Moving on, we got Andre Petrosky taking on Hugh Yaozong. This is a replacement fight. It was supposed to be Yaozong and Amandovsky again, which got rebooked. Bit of a bummer it got canceled, to be honest, because that was one of the most meme fights you could possibly have. And in terms of this fight, though, it seems pretty straightforward. Yaozong's a terrible grappler, or at least he was last time we saw him 3 years ago. Possibly he's made improvements, but they'd have to be pretty drastic here. Taking on Andre Petrosky, who's a very good grappler, I largely think Petrosky probably finishes him quite early at a fairly healthy clip. What I will say is Petrosky's got horrible energy management and bad gas. There's a pretty reasonable chance that if he can't get him out of there, he's going to slow down and maybe put in trouble late. On top of that, Hugh used to fight at heavyweight, and now he's fighting at middleweight. So maybe Petrosky has issues getting him down. But like Hugh got out grappled by Cyril Asker and got submitted there. I can't really put too much stock in him in this spot, to be honest. See, any thoughts, Petrosky, Hugh?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Petrosky should roll. These fucking Chinese PI guys, they all suck. Fucking horrible. Yeah, you can't even do worse than what they're doing right now. But yeah, I mean, from what you've seen, Hugh grappling wise, it's it's nothing to write home about. So he's probably at a pretty significant disadvantage there. Yeah, if I was playing Hugh, I'd probably just take later round stabs. Kind of hope for a death gas type scenario. I mean, if Petrosky gassed himself out after a round, it wouldn't be super surprising. But yeah, pass for me, no play.
Anything on Amirkhani Murphy?
Amirkhani Murphy. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think. I guess Murphy. I don't know. I'm not running to bet him versus Makwan minus 300. Should he be like maybe a slight favorite? Probably, I guess, on just cardio and offense on the feet. But yeah, I think early on, I mean, he's going to make it a sweat. I think plus 550 on the sub or whatever the hell it was. I think round one sub when I looked was plus 850 on FanDuel or
I think it was
like that.
850.
It was a pretty big number. Yeah, that might be what it was. And I was thinking, wow, that's kind of nuts since, like, Murphy could just, I mean, if you sub Murphy, it's not going to be surprising. And I think it's a decent amount of his win equity as an early sub. So, yeah, not super strong thoughts.
Yeah, submission round one is actually plus 1,700, which is kind of insane. Yeah, we might have to put a bag on that. Yeah, I like Makwan here, to be honest.
What was sub? Plus 850?
Plus 850 on FanDuel right now.
What's the sub?
Around 850.
Just any time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me mute you because I'm getting some feedback. Yeah, so I like Amirkhani quite a bit here in this spot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not on him big or anything, but I have a unit on him plus 275. Like, I guess for me, it's like I can't say confidently that Zubair Tukugov's a better grappler than Makwan Amirkhani. I certainly don't think he's a more dangerous grappler. And we saw Tukugov go to a draw with Murphy and basically go 6 of 8 on takedowns and control him for 9 minutes. Amirkhani, we know, is going to attempt a lot of takedowns. I know if he gets the spots Tukugov got, he's going to put Murphy in a lot more danger than Tukugov was able to put him in. And I largely think Murphy's grappling is fairly untested at this point. You know, we have that fight, which looks pretty bad, and then not a whole lot of other sample outside of him, taking down some bums on the British regional scene. And like, I'm not an Amirkhani guy in general. In general, I look to fade him in his gas tank, but it's not like the guy's never won a decision. He went to a split decision with Arnold Allen. He beat Jason Knight by decision. He's won decisions before. And I think there's a pretty good chance that while he's fresh, he's just going to toss Murphy around the cage, to be honest. So I'm on him at plus 275. I like the sub at plus 850. I like the sub one at plus 1,700. Yeah, I like Amirkhani every which way in the spot here. Moving on, we got Shamil Gamzatov taking on Lord Mikhail Olasejic. Anything from you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting close to playing Shamil. I think I want to pick him, but yeah, I mean we're getting to territory where I think you kind of have to just play it. I mean, a takedown is likely the round, and even on the feet, I think Oleg's a little bit overrated from from what I've seen his last fight. I guess I'm a little bit less impressed than I think I kind of originally was. So yeah, I think Shamil at like even money. I mean, somebody who has a grappling advantage like that, it's definitely worth a tiny wager.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. To be honest with you, like I taped it when Shamil was like minus 170, and I was kind of just like, that's about right. That looks right. And I had gone into tape being like, I really want to play Oleg here, just because UFC vet who's been a dog against a guy with one fight in the UFC. But it's like if you actually kind of contextualize the career of Mikhail Olasejic, it's actually not nearly as impressive as I had recalled it being. To be honest, like you go through his career, and his first fight in the UFC, it's a fight with Khalil Roundtree, who beats the piss out of him for about 3 minutes, then death gasses, loses the fight. He then pops for steroids. Next fight, he fights Vellante. They fight for 90 seconds, KOs him with a body shot. Next fight, fights Antigulov. Antigulov basically just sprints at him into a KO 40 seconds into the fight. Next fight, fights Ovince St. Preux. He beats up OSP for a round, but OSP doesn't throw strikes and kind of just lets the tee off, gasses out, gets finished on the mat. Next fight after that, fights Jimmy Crute, gets tossed around in ragdoll. And then last fight, Modestas Bukauskas, who's since been cut from the UFC, looked truly, truly awful in that fight. Olasejic, like I thought he lost the fight. That was a fight that I bet him in, and I was pretty confident he was going to outstrike him with ease. And he got outboxed by a guy who I don't really rate as a striker. And so here we are with Gamzatov, and it's like I do give some credence to Olasejic's experience, like no doubt. But the reality is what we've seen on the mat has been horrible. His boxing looks nice, but we are seeing that he's very, very easy to hit when guys just don't fight reckless against him. And on top of that, he's undersized for the weight class to a massive degree. So, yeah, I mean, I think Gamzatov's 65% was fair. I had no intention to play Shamil Gamzatov here, but now I'm seeing minus 118 at FanDuel, minus 122 at Bet Online. Like, we're getting to territory where he might close evens or dog. And to me, that's a bridge too far for myself. So, yeah, I mean, I like Shamil here. Moving on, we got Zaleski dos Santos, Benoit Saint Denis. I don't really have very strong thoughts here. I guess my view is Saint Denis, he's kind of I guess you call him a power wrestler / jiu-jitsu guy. He's coming from Brave. And he looks like, I don't know, okay. His striking looks really bad. I don't think he sets up his takedowns very, very well. And so I would expect, when he faces someone on the level of Dos Santos, he's just going to get teed off on. And to be honest, I considered playing Zaleski here. I guess the problem for me is like you don't ever really know what Zaleski you're going to get. He's very Jekyll and Hyde, and like if he sits back and goes low volume or just kind of mentally collapses in a scramble, it wouldn't shock me. But yeah, I mean, I do think he's far, far better here. Like if I had gotten the minus 185 that was available early, I would have taken it. He's the better striker. He should be the better submission grappler. Saint Denis' path seems pretty limited to hitting a couple takedowns and accruing top time. See, do you have any thoughts here?
Yeah, I played Santos at minus 170 when one of the books had it at minus 170. So I played it just kind of blind, just knowing, UFC guy versus regional guy, and then I kept it. After taping it. I figured, worst case scenario, just arm out. But yeah, I taped it. And I think Santos, I mean, it's even at the current line, it's a huge step down in competition from what he's been facing. And you really, I'm not super high on this dude's wrestling, the guy from Brave.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I if he can't get that going, he's going to get put out on the feet. And Santos is still, he's still got explosive movement. Hits fucking hard. I mean, I don't know how the hell he lost that Muslim fight, but he had them days a couple times. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair. I'm going to stay with you here, C. Next fight up, we got Duraev Kopylov. What are your thoughts here?
What did you say?
Duraev Kopylov?
I think if you're going to make a play, I think Duraev, I think the under 1.5 is good. I think if Duraev gets on top, pretty much game over, but his chin is questionable, so I feel like if you were playing Kyrov, I'd rather have like the round 1 knockout. But yeah, I think Duraev, I think he's probably fine. He's gone up against decent competition in Russia, but yeah, I mean, I'm not running to bet him at minus 350, but if you got it at minus 225, you probably have like a little bit of value.
Yeah, agreed. I don't really have a whole lot to add there. I mean, I guess basically Duraev's a great grappler. Kopylov's a terrible grappler. Duraev may be a little chinny, and Kopylov is dangerous on the feet. But Kopylov's low volume he's not going to give himself a chance to win minutes. He's almost entirely KO dependent. To be honest, if you played Duraev back at like the minus 260 or whatever it was earlier in the week, I can't really blame you. He's just a superior fighter in every way. And it's interesting because he is a debutant, but it's not like, Albert Duraev is coming off fighting a bunch of 0-0 guys. Now, he was an ACB for a while. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't really even see much of a level edge here for Kopylov. Moving on, we got Zubair Tukhugov, Ricardo Ramos. I'm tempted by Ramos here. I guess, the fear is that Tuk just top times him, which is, I guess, in play, and Ramos might be willing to settle for guard. But in terms of the striking, like I think Ramos is probably a much better striker than Tukhugov is. Obviously Tukhugov a bit more dangerous and hits a bit harder, but I think just about everything Ramos does is more technical, and he's definitely got a better output, and he has better cardio. And then in terms of the grappling, like I said, Tukhugov could top time him, but I'm not sure he's going to want to play around in the guard of a black belt. And number two, if they get involved, if scrambles do occur, like I trust Ramos' grappling a lot more than I trust Tukhugov's. To be honest, I don't really think, Tukhugov has very, very fast entries. He's good at getting takedowns. He has terrible control, though. His striking is awful. He hits hard and he's fast. But other than hitting hard and having quick entries, he does really nothing well, and he's got an absolutely awful gas tank here. Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted by Ramos here. See, what do you think?
Yeah, I have a little bit of Ramos from early on. I think at plus 220. Yeah, I don't entirely disagree. I guess, my concern with Ramos is really he's flaky mentally. He's kind of just like a flake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Tuk doesn't have, he does have power in his hands, but it's pretty much all going to be early in that fight. The guy has terrible cardio. And yeah, I don't really think that it's all that likely that he controls Ramos. He might land a couple takedowns, but I those scrambles are gonna, again, he's just gonna get tired. Yeah, I think Ramos at plus money is probably the side. But if he does something super flaky, it wouldn't be surprising either. So
yeah, he went out super, super soft against Murphy to like a concerning degree.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's like fucking Wellington Truman.
Fuck Turban. Moving on, we got Amanda Hebos, Verna Jandaroba. I bet Rebus here. I bet her at minus 135. I think the current line's moving into right territory. I've seen a lot of Jandaroba takes this week, and largely I do get them. She does, Rebus is chinny, and, there is a chance. I do think Jandaroba can hit takedowns here. I guess for me, though, it's like Dern couldn't, Rebus does scramble pretty well. Dern couldn't hold her down. Marcos couldn't. Granted, Jandaroba's got a better top game than Marcos. Rebus is a high-level submission grappler as well. So it's like, unless she just accepts guard and lets Verna lay on top of her for 10 minutes, I don't really see Verna being able to just control her if she is intent on getting up, which I imagine she would be. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong and she does let Verna do that. But unless Verna can win a control-based decision, I kind of think she's pretty fucked here. Like, sure, Rebus is chinny, but in my opinion, the degree of striking difference between the two is massive here. Rebus, much better volume, much more accurate striker. I think she hits a lot harder. If you actually watch their fights with Dern back to back, it's actually kind of stunning. And to be honest, it's very easy to say, oh, Dern came back right after having a baby. But actually look at the shit that Dern is throwing at her. It's not a whole lot different than what she tried to throw at Marina and what she threw at Verna when they fought. The difference is, I don't think Rebus is an elite striker, but I think she's probably like a B. And I think Verna's probably like a C-. And I think the Murata fight is probably coloring some people's heads about, Verna striking. But 5 minutes of the Murata fight was against a girl with one arm, literally a broken arm, who couldn't defend strikes with her left hand. And so I can't even really take anything from that. So, I'm a little concerned about a KO, but I think Rebus is going to dunk on her standing without any difficulty. Like I said, Verna could top timer, win 2 rounds grappling. It wouldn't shock me, but I do think if Rebus doesn't accept guard and works to get up, she's going to be able to get up here. See, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't deviate too much from that. I do think that the Verna stand up is a little odd. I guess that I'm seeing people think that she has any type of advantage on the feet. I mean, Riva's got better movement. She's got quicker hands. I mean, just watch. Yeah, I mean, pretty much if you watch the Dern and Marcos fights, one Dern's definitely much more harder matchup on the feet than Verna, just because she has the retarded aggression, and Ribas made her look like shit. And then Marcos, I think I'd favor Marcos in a kickboxing match over Verna pretty comfortably. So yeah, I don't really understand that Verna like winning a kickboxing fight. Like I definitely agree that it's going to be a top time. Related to top time by Verna. I don't even know why the fuck anybody would think Verna's knocking out Ribas. She doesn't have power in her hands. And like, dude, Ribas, she got knocked out when she was like fucking 21, and then she got knocked out by Marina Rodriguez. I mean, it's like, okay. Like, how much fault do you give to somebody getting knocked out by Marina? It's like, whatever. So yeah, I think she's got honestly, I kind of think the fight's gonna play out similar to the Dern fight. She's just gonna beat the shit out of her. So yeah, I think Ribas minus 160, probably up to like minus 225. I think that's kind of where the value dips, but I think Ribas should be a pretty good size favorite. Good buy low spot too on Ribas.
Yeah, I agree completely. What are your thoughts on Ankalaev Volkan Ozdemir?
Yeah, I think Vulcan's fine. Probably another. Oh Jesus Christ! These fucking homeless people are nuts. Um, what fight? The Vulcan fight? Yeah, Ankalaev. I don't have like super strong thoughts. I rewatched the Vulcan fight the other day when he who did he beat, like Rakic, and I fucking was like unloading on. Yeah, I had a big bet on Rakic there, and like I was like, okay, so but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a challenge for Ankalaev. It's definitely concerning like volume wise. So laying minus 300 on him probably not worth it. But again, like I favor him. I'm just not really interested in betting him at that line.
Yeah. Largely agree. Well, I did bet Vulcan actually, so I am interested in betting him. What I think is kind of interesting is if you actually go look at the closing line against Ank against the Brave, minus 220. You look at his closing line against Krylov, he closes minus 300. You look at the closing line the first time he fought Kludalaba, and it was about minus 250. And now he's getting up near minus 400 against Volkan Ozdemir, who I'd make comfortably minus 200 to 300 against all of those guys, to be completely honest, it's getting bizarre, especially because, I bet Krylov against Ank last fight. And look, I mean, Ank clearly won the fight, but he lost the first round, fairly clearly on output, and he was getting paced on the feet the whole fight. And it's like, I watch what's going to happen here. And it's like, he was getting outpointed by Krylov. Is he really going to outland Ozdemir if they fight for 15 minutes? Like, I really don't think so. I mean, he could, but I'm like very, very confident volume's going to be very close here. I mean, Ozdemir has fought an absolutely insane strength of schedule in the UFC and actually put up, pretty good numbers doing it, and had very competitive striking fights with really good strikers. Whereas Ozdemir is out here, or Magomed's out here getting outlanded by Nikita Krylov at distance. I mean, Krylov's decent, but like he's nothing special. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess I have two concerns here. One, Vulcan tends to enter the pocket with his hands down, and that check right hook Magomed tends to throw is going to be there all day for him. Vulcan does move his head well, but I have to imagine he's going to get clipped a lot. And number two is the wrestling. But what I will say is Vulcan's, takedown defense and defensive grappling in general has gotten a lot better over the years. Rakic is a good wrestler, and he went 1-9 on takedowns. So, like, I don't really think Ank, if he decides to wrestle, getting 2 to 3 takedowns is anything near a certainty. If anything, I'd say you could comfortably project him for maybe 1 to 2 takedowns, and maybe like 3 to 5 minutes of top time. And maybe that's enough. It might be. But I also kind of think when Vulcan can extend exchanges here, he's going to have big success. Yeah, so like I like Vulcan. I think, Magomed like 60%, 65% is pretty reasonable. But I really can't get past that. I think it's kind of crazy, to be honest, especially just because of how tentative he is on the feet against a guy who is going to throw a lot more strikes. So yeah, I mean, I like Vulcan here. I bet Vulcan here. Moving on, we got Kamzat taking on the Leech, Li Jinglang. See, any thoughts here, Kamzat?
Yeah, yeah, I'm rooting for Kamzat round one. The Leech probably isn't really the guy to fade him with. His grappling is shit. So yeah, I mean, I guess round one knockout could happen, right? But yeah, I'm actually rooting for Kamzat to kind of win and bully his way through to like I don't know, something like even money versus Usman. So keep winning.
Yeah, like I think that's like the ideal scenario is us getting like Kamzat Usman near evens. I'm not even like it's funny because I faded Kamzat and I feel like I've kind of cultivated the reputation of like saying Kamzat's a fraud. I don't even really think he's a fraud. I guess my view of Kamzat is just more we don't even really know what he is. We know he dominated two very, very poor grapplers and then knocked out GM3 in like 19 seconds. So, like, I've learned really nothing about Kamzat's game and how it translates to the UFC. The only thing I feel comfortable saying is he's a B wrestler, is he's at minimum a B level wrestler with good ground and pound and a decent submission game. Maybe he's an A wrestler, but I haven't seen enough to really like know that, to be honest. Unfortunately, his fight back here, I don't really think we're going to get any questions answered. Like, this is not the time to kind of take a flyer fading Kamzat. I don't think. Look, the Leech, if Kamzat decides to bang it out on the feet with him, yeah, I mean, Lee's probably going to look like huge value, but I don't think Kamzat's going to do that. And I mean, Lee got grapple fucked by Neil Magny. He got grapple fucked by Jake Matthews. If Kamzat wants to take him down and do him dirty, he's going to. I don't really see a whole lot of reason to think that this fight that this line is off, unless it just turns out that, Kamzat's case of COVID, he just hasn't fully recovered from. Even in terms of props, like I don't think it's great. Kamayev ITD is, I mean, if you can get minus 175, it's not terrible. He has finished all of his wins, but like even that, I don't want to put minus 175 on an ITD line. So yeah, I mean, I'm with C. I hope we get Kamayev keeps rolling people until he fights somebody who's reasonable, and then we get that person who's reasonable, like plus 500. But we will see. We will see. No, Magic, you had your show. You're not defending his honor. See, moving on. Or actually, no, Kamzat Lee. Any thoughts here?
I started this one off. I started the Kamzat one off.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Volkov Tybura.
Which one?
Volkov Tybura.
Oh, yeah, I think Volkov probably just puts Tybura out. Although Tybura has like a weird like durability thing where like he's either like just gonna decide to be durable or he's just gonna go out like lightly and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But yeah, I mean, I think Volkov skill wise pretty much as good as anyone at heavyweight. So I guess if Tybura lands some takedowns, but I don't personally see it. So yeah, I wouldn't be running to like lay Volkov minus 300, but the line's probably pretty close to accurate.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, I love Tybura. I think we've all bet him like multiple fights in a row now, but it's just Tybura is not a good wrestler. He's almost like an attritional wrestler. Like he kind of just wears on you till he gets you down. And I just, Volkov's got good cardio and has reasonable takedown defense against anybody not named Curtis Blades, pretty much. And on the feet, I mean, you saw what Greg Hardy did to Tybura early. I think Volkov's going to dunk on him and dunk on him badly, to be completely honest. I kind of think, things I'm targeting, Volkov KO is plus 125, which I don't think is bad. ITD is like minus 120. I think Volkov round one at plus 300 is also pretty solid here, to be honest. Not a lock, but like some combination of like Volkov KO and Volkov early, I think is good. Like, I don't think Tybura is going to take too many of his shots before he goes out. Maybe Volkov starts slow, but once he starts stringing them together, I think he puts Tybura out pretty easily, to be completely honest. Moving on, Makhachev Hooker. What do you got, C?
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who's taken the flyers on people like Matt Wyman and a bunch of dog shit over the years, I want to bet Hooker. This is probably like the most principal spot to like bet him, but at the same time, like I just fucking know I'm burning money. Like, I don't know. Like, dude, I is there value on Hooker? For sure. There's definitely value. It's definitely one of those spots where, like, it's like, why the fuck am I going to bet on something that I know, like I just know that, like, even if variance went my way, man, like, I just don't think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't hate Hooker plays, but it just feels like you're just burning money. And Hooker has looked good before. I mean,
See, I'm inviting Magic in. I'm inviting Magic in here for the Jan fight.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Go Islam. I don't know. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I shouldn't say I'm with you. Like if we got plus 550, plus 600 on Hooker, I think I'd take the stab. But like, I don't know. It's weird. Like I think if like Makhachev was orthodox and like low calf kicks would be there, I'd actually have like a moderate degree of interest. Just because I do think, like, I think there's a chance Hooker can get up early in his fight a couple times. And if he could do that and was landing kicks that were damaging him, it could change the course of the fight. The problem is it's not going to be there. And so it's like, yeah, I think he can probably work up in the first 7 minutes or so, but he probably needs to put him out then, which he could happen, but it's like at what clip? Makhachev does such a good job limiting volume. It's just like, I don't know. I was talking to Andrew earlier today, and I was like, the truth is this fight probably looks either Islam minus 150 or Islam minus 1,000 with like literally zero in between. Like if Hooker can get up consistently, it looks like a competitive fight. And if he can't, Islam looks like a dominant, a dominant winner here. Magic, what's your take on Dan Hooker, Islam Makhachev?
I just talked about this like 2 hours ago. I bet Hooker.
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
Okay. I bet Hooker. Yeah, the price is insane.
Right,
it's a bet I really wanted to make at the same time. if this one hits, you want to be on Hooker.
It's a bet we're all gonna make, and we're all probably gonna lose, unfortunately.
No, I think it's much more life than people think.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how much credence do you give to, like the night fight from 5 years ago? And I don't really know. I don't know what he's learned since then,
Like, there is a possibility he hits Makhachev clean once and he fucking dies. I think Makhachev is chinny as fuck.
I mean, he got put out by Adriano Martins, so it's it's possible.
David Ramos knocked him down with a jab, man. Just a jab. He touched him once and Makhachev went to his knees.
Yeah, I'm pumped to see what happens. So we'll move on to the fight we brought Magic here for. We got Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen. C, take it away. I'll start with you here.
Yeah, I bet Corey. Yeah, I think Corey honestly has Yan covered. So yeah, I mean, I think from like a thought process standpoint, like Corey can fight off his back foot. Longer can use his range. I've seen, Corey put up high output. I mean, he just puts out higher out fights. Super thin margin on Yan winning rounds. I mean, he was losing to Jimmy Rivera, got outstruck by Jimmy Rivera at distance. So I can only imagine what's going to happen when Corey gets in there. No, dude, UFC Fight Pass or Fight Stats do not lie.
Like poor Jimmy Rivera was out there like, I'm fucking going to die, and his trainer goes, you shorten the distance, go for him. The guy was, he's going to kill me, and everybody says Rivera was winning. I mean, come on, man.
No. Look, you bet Corey decision only plus 200. I think that lines off by like $1.25 at least. I don't see how Corey decision only could be plus 200. I'd definitely make him a favorite on the decision only line. Probably my favorite bet of the whole card is Corey decision only plus 200.
Because
I think you're
he's
removing a
getting
decent
finished. That's
amount
why.
of
All right, Magic, give us your take
but
here.
yeah,
I'll
like,
let you give your take.
Let's hear it.
He wants my take first. All right. Yeah, I'm on Corey as well. I mean, look, I obviously I faded Jan with Aljo, which was literally the luckiest cash of my life. But yeah, I guess for me, I just kind of view it as like an even money fight. Like I think Jan's a legit top 5 guy in the world. Like, I don't really question that at all. What I question is, like, we've seen him have competitive minute standing with Jose Aldo while he was fresh, with Aljo while he was fresh, with Jimmy Rivera. And it's like, yeah, he won all of those fights. And, like, I don't think he got lucky to win those fights. But the reality is he was losing rounds in each of those. And now he's fighting a guy who is just a much better minute winner than all 3 of those guys on the feet. And so it's like, can Jan grapple fuck him for 5 rounds? Like, maybe, I guess, but like TJ could only do it for 9 minutes. I don't really think Jan's a better offensive grappler than TJ. Sunsao got him down 4 times and couldn't really control him that long. I don't really know if he's a better top game than Rafael Sunsao. And so it's like, I think most of this fight's going to play out at distance. And if it's playing out at distance for 25 minutes, I don't really see how it's not a pick'em fight. So if it's a pick'em fight, I have to play Corey. And so I'm on him for a decent amount here. What's your take?
Jan is going to break him, man. I don't know. I think the takes are very off, same as with the Sterling fight. And to this day, people are acting like Sterling was a close fight. So, okay. If they want to live in their fantasy world, where has he gone? Is he scared? Is this guy really pretending he's losing the internet just now?
Hit me with it. I want the analysis, Magic.
What?
I want the analysis. Give me the fight breakdown.
I think he's going to break him late. I really don't think Sandhagen is going to take him out outside of something crazy like a flying knee out of nowhere or something like that. Like, I thought Sandhagen won against Dillashaw. I really thought that was a bad decision. But at the same time, I was very disappointed with him because it was a guy that I was thinking, this guy is going to be a huge problem for a lot of people over 5 rounds. And in the championship rounds, I really didn't see the volume or the attrition I wanted. And the only time he has really been in a war of attrition was against Lineker, and he was breaking. I mean, let's be honest, he was breaking bad in the end. So,
yeah, but do you think Jan can keep the volume Lineker could?
Yeah,
like that's kind of my big question here. It's like, because I do agree Jan hits harder. I'm just kind of like, if it goes 5 rounds and Corey outlands him 180 to 120, is it very likely Jan's going to win that kind of a fight? You know?
Yeah, Jan ends stronger than he starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I think it's more or less going to be fairly close, you know, in my opinion. Do you think he finishes Corey?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think Corey is going to be like competitive. I mean, competitive because he's going to run a fucking marathon and throw low kicks for 10 minutes. Yeah, he's long. He's a good fighter, but when they start really fighting, you know what I mean? I think Jan is going to break him.
So, I mean, Jan live then might be better than betting him on the money line, though, right? I mean, if he's going to give up the first round early. No, but I'm saying, like, for anybody, like, I'm sure there are people parlaying Jan at like minus 300. Like, wouldn't it just be better to wait it out for like a round or two?
I wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't parlay Jan, but I think it's more possible that he looks minus 400 than the fight looking evens.
Interesting. Okay. Well, fair take. We'll see what happens. I mean, one day I'm either going to get Peter Yan or I'm going to go bankrupt trying to get Peter Yan. One of those things is going to happen.
I mean, you cash Sterling, man.
I did cash the Sterling one.
You cannot complain like quit. Never ever again.
Dude, see bet him live like plus 1,000 after round 3. Fucking crazy.
I saw someone that took Sterling live by knockout.
No.
Yeah, it was like plus 4,000.
That is insane.
I don't know. The guy maybe was hoping for, I don't know, a spinning elbow or something.
I mean, that's like one of the dumbest fights of the year, to be completely honest. But I was hoping we'd get that. I'd rather get that than, well, I mean, this is probably a more entertaining fight, but it would have been nice to have seen this play out for sure. And Anyway, you want to stay on for Blachowicz Teixeira?
I wasn't going to do it, but I am not going to leave you hanging because this coward has
Nice.
gone I don't know
Fucking
where.
see. What are your thoughts on the fight?
I play Glover. Why not? I mean, why not? How is Blachowicz going to cover his price unless he knocks out Glover silly in the first 10 minutes? And Glover, I mean, you can hit that guy with a baseball bat and nothing happens. So Glover is the obvious side, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I bet him too. It's kind of funny. Like, obviously, I taped it, but I'm like looking through. I was like looking through Jan's Tapology on like Tuesday, and it's like the dude has fought 4 middleweights in his last 6 fights. I keep hearing about how good. I mean, Jacare and Rockhold, though, you know. Like,
Yeah,
and I bet Rockhold against him, but
Santos went 5 competitive rounds with John Jones.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's fair. Santos knocked him out, though. So,
Teixeira?
Yeah. Oh, no. Santos knocked out. I'm talking about Blachowicz. Blachowicz fought 4 of his last 6 fights have been against middleweights. And, like,
I thought you were saying Teixeira because he fought Robertson, Santos.
No, dude. I mean, I if you look at it, it's like I get it. Everybody wants to say John's got much better takedown D, but it's like both Rockhold and Souza got him into the clinch without pretty much any issue at all. Both guys undersized, and like he stayed on his feet. But you're telling me if Glover gets there, he's not going to hit takedowns this fight? Like, I don't really believe that. I kind of think. Like, Glover's a lot stronger than either of those guys. And if he gets him down, he's going to hold him down in all likelihood. Like, we're not, like, that far removed from Zach Cummings getting, like 8 minutes of top time against Jan Blachowicz or Alex Gustafsson getting 10 minutes of top time against him. And so I'm just like, Jan has to knock him out pretty much. And if he doesn't, like, Teixeira's got some of the best recovery in the sport. If he doesn't knock him out, the feat's probably close and low volume, and if Glover hits takedowns, I don't know. I can't get past like Jan being like 55, 60% here. I don't really see how in the world he's up near 75%,
Yeah, I literally said this in our pod. I don't know if you watch. I don't think
no,
so.
not yet. I was gonna watch it. I was gonna watch it after this.
But I really like Blachowicz, but his last fights, it has been always on his terms. You know what I mean? A slow pace on the feet, measured. Like against Corey, he defended early and he was able to find the shot. But if you can make him work and make him grapple, the guy gets tired. And Glover is pretty much immortal at this point. I don't know how he does it, but
I don't know how he survived against Santos in that round 3.
It wasn't that bad. In the beginning, it was bad,
think so?
But the second time, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, the first time he got face planted. It was crazy. No, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, even the Israel fight, like that was like a relatively close fight, and then he kind of just size bullied him. He's not going to size bully Glover like any extent in this fight.
I mean, Adesanya's grappling in that fight looked like what are they doing down there in Australia?
That's why I lost money on Marvin Vettori in his next fight.
Hey, that was fantastic because I bet Adesanya to finish him. I was like, he's going to mop the floor with Vettori, and the guy cannot finish shit, it seems.
Dude, I mean, his money, honestly, like, I saw that fight, and I was like, oh my God, Vettori is going to fuck this dude up. And then...
Yeah, you were like super convinced on Twitter. I remember this. Italian flags and everything. Everybody, I mean, not everybody, but a ton of people were on Vettori. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of funny. It's like one of those things where you probably put too much stock and not enough stock into the weight. Like we saw it with like Godinez and Carolina a couple weeks ago. That broad is just fucking huge, and it's just not easy to deal with grappling big people, So
yeah.
But yeah, Magic, thanks.
Did you all bet Americani? I didn't watch. I only watched like
I was gonna say give the best. I'm on Americani. I'm gonna be on Americani sub and Americani sub. I think you have to be, right? Krugov got 9 minutes of control against Murphy.
It's the right bet. It's the right bet and the bet you want to make. You want to be on this one. When the Americonda hits, you want to be on this.
Of course, and it's like I was saying to C. It's like if you tell me right now that Americani is going to get the same positions on Murphy that.
Yeah, he's going to finish.
Krugov had. He's going to finish.
Murphy is not good on the mat.
Yeah,
he's going to try to post or something, and he's getting choked.
it's like, who has Tukugov controlled? Nobody. But he controlled Lerone Murphy, you know?
Yeah, I said this too. I think he set the record for most takedowns without a pass in a fight. It was insane. He was just like pushing the guy towards him all the time.
I mean, didn't DSDA took Murphy's back? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
briefly.
At one point he got him down like once or twice, and he got his back.
And he's
but
a bantamweight.
Amirkhani doesn't want the back. Getting the back is for cowards. He only goes for the anaconda.
Yeah, I think he's going to sub him, to be honest. And even if he doesn't, like, I keep seeing people telling me that Amirkhani is going to can't win a decision here, and it's like, well, he went to a split with Arnold Allen. He won a decision against Jason Knight. Why can't he win a decision against Lerone Murphy?
You are lying. You already watch our podcast. You like to
no, I haven't watched
all the same takes.
I'm telling you, he gassed against Burgos because he attempted 20 takedowns, and Burgos just a zombie and kept getting.
And Burgos grabbed the fence like 17 times. But Keith Peterson was like, oh.
Bro, I parlayed Burgos, and like halfway into the first round, I was like, "Oh my god, I've made a huge mistake here. This is awful."
Something was like very wrong with the guy. I mean, fighters always make excuses, you know, but something was like terribly wrong with the guy. I don't know what it was. He looked small as fuck, and then he said he didn't get any weight on back and wasn't in the hospital for like 10 days or something.
Yeah. I think he had the kidney failure. Yeah, it was a kidney failure or something. He he went from like 100 to 0 almost immediately. Yeah, so dude, what's your best prop for the card before we sign off here?
I don't know, man. Let me check what I bet. I have a lot of bets. I mean, in terms of value?
Yeah. I don't care how big it is.
I bet Ankalaev by submission plus 2,500.
Oh, fuck. What, plus 2,500? Is that a line?
And it's plus 28 at other sites, but I cannot use those sites from Spain. But it's plus 2,800.
Wow, I bet Vulcan, but that is fucking crazy.
I bet that. I'm repeating all the shit I said on our podcast, but I mean, at some point he's going to go to therapy and stop smashing people and roll an arm triangle or something.
You'd think so, right? I mean, if he flattens Vulcan out, Vulcan looks pretty bad.
When he gets flattened, he's like, "All right, this is over."
Agreed. Well, thank you for stopping by, Magic. I appreciate you filling in for that fucking coward C. Just signing off and getting out of here.
Where is he going?
Dude, who knows? He's doing something in Chicago, going to like a fucking party.
He probably saw some hot chick, and now he has this new rich guy apartment, you know? He doesn't care about his friends anymore.
He messaged me 20 minutes before the podcast was about to start. He's like 11 p.m. Eastern, right? I'm like, when the fuck have we ever started at 11 p.m. Eastern, bro? And I'm like, are you watching the Packers game? He's like, yeah, try and find someone else. Like, he couldn't have told me this like an hour ago, you know? But yeah, thanks for coming on, Magic, guys. Thank Magic for stopping by. We'll see you guys next week on Wednesday. As always, drop a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Take it easy, guys. Yeah.
We will have you on our podcast once if you want. Without you having to sing Sweet Caroline or the Alex Hernandez video. You know the rules of the podcast?
No Peter Yan fight, though. Thanks, Magic. Take it easy, guys.
Bye.